request Professor Dr. Ishita De from the South Asia University to kindly accompany Sri Garg for the unveiling of the poster exhibition by the students of South Asian University. Professor De. And I also request all of you to please walk through the poster exhibition. It's been put together by the students of South Asian University who are here. I also request you to please take your positions next to your posters to explain it to the guests as they walk through. Getting back, and my apologies for that little disaster with coffee. We didn't have power in the morning, so I think that's why it's taking long to warm up. What I can promise you is that all of you will get a wonderful cup of coffee at the end of lunch. That's also kind of, it's in our benefit because that ensures that all of us are awake for the post-lunch session. So our second panel today is a very interesting panel where we talk about India's dairy diversity. We heard the speakers of panel 1 touch about it in their conversation, where they spoke about plant-based milk, they spoke about camel milk, goat milk. We will dive deeper into this in the next panel. And to moderate the panel, I would call Mili Dubey on stage. Mili is the Assistant General Secretary of the PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industries, and she has been a part of ICA since our journey began. Mili, I leave it to you in your able hands, and I'll just be here if you need me for something.
I would have a privilege and this opportunity to moderate this session with an extreme accomplished panelist. It is, I would say, we have talked a lot about dairy and all the benefits of it and the other side of it as well. But in this session, as Tanushri mentioned, that we will be diving deeper into a non-conventional side of a milk, which is a non-bovine milk. On the panel, I would like to introduce Professor Sanjeev Kumar. Professor Sanjeev Kumar is the founder of the Goat Trust, a leading organization in countries supporting small ruminant farmers across India. The trust works on goat value chain across 18 Indian states with 12,000 grassroots workers, team with 4.28 lakh goat farmer, and is doing cumulative business of INR 700 crores annually. Professor Kumar established the International Institute of Goat Management with the professional goal to establish a field university for less formally educated development worker in all small livestock-based livelihoods. He has over 24 years of experience in grassroots development action work and guiding the mentoring professionals in the sector. He is an agriculture graduate from BHU and has done masters in livestock production and management from National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal, Haryana. Second on the panel, we have Ms. Sonal. Please join us on stage. Sonal is the director of Compassionate Choice Private Limited and lead the brand White Cub as its CEO. White Cub is India's first dedicated vegan alt dairy brand that started over 11 years ago and makes plant-based products. She is the winner of Department of Science and Technology, Government of India's prestigious WEE Foundation Award of Excellence in 2017, PETA Food Awards 2014, 15, and 22, and so on and so forth. Lots of feathers on her cap already. She has been covered in Economic Times, Hindustan Times, Times of India, Femina magazine as well. Welcome, Sonal. Next on the panel is Chef Vikas Chawla. Chef Vikas Chawla is the CEO of Core Hospitality Solution and has over 30 years of experience as F&B consultant and is the ambassador of Millet at NutriHub. Vikas, please, can we have on stage? Chef Vikas was awarded Millet Chef Award by the government of Telangana in 2023. Vikas is graduate of the esteemed Chandigarh Institute of Hotel Management with the years of experience in renowned hospitality chains. He has honed his skills of perfection to perfection. Currently, he serves as a consultant to a wide array of establishments, including restaurants, cafes, confectionaries, bakeries, hotels, resorts, theme parks in the region. So this was the brief introduction of my panelist. Now, when we talk about a non-bovine milk, what all comes to our mind? it's mostly which is a non-conventional milk or coming from goat, camel, plant-based milk. So we have two experts from the plant-based sector, and Sir has joined from the Goat Trust. From the Goat Trust Association. So we'll be starting with Sir Sanjeev Kumarji, and I would love to ask him about he uh, how he thought of this, and talking about India is such a culturally rich, and when we talk about milk, it has a heritage value to it. So deviating from that and making it as a commercial viable working space for farmers. So how did this idea strike him, and his journey on the goat milk? Sir, over to you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, in fact. And really, it's very fortunate to discuss about non-bovine milk and especially goat milk. Let me start with the statement of our the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi said, "Goat is poor man's cow," and the whole concept around it is something where you can understand it's a poor man's cow. So it's a cow, it's a small cow, and it do gives milk. So why goat milk, or are the benefits that we need to understand? And it's really asked me that question how I came to this. See, India is the largest producer of goat milk on this earth. I repeat, largest producer of goat milk. And it's the most wholesome milk. If you look into the milk and milk products, goat milk is one of the best milk in the sense its composition is very close to human milk. And three, four things which normally we lack, which goat milk can give you, is as you could see, just the digestibility coefficient or the digestibility, the probiotics, a whole medium fatty chain, fatty acid chain, which means the fat globules in goat milk is much lower or much smaller than the cow and buffalo milk, which is easily digestible. So on the one hand, I would present you the comparison of goat and cow milk with a due respect to cow and buffalo. These are the major milk. But what could be the milk for the supplementary milk? What could be the mineral source? So if you see this table, the comparison, although a milk composition always varies, it's just an indicative. But three, four factors. One is the potassium. If you see magnesium in the goat milk, it's almost significantly higher than other milk source, including the calcium. And if you look into vitamin profile, again, the many of the vitamins, as you could see in goat milk, is much higher than compared to cow and other milk. So what it means? It means, and the most is the ability. The goat milk is consumed as I've had one of the study comments that the goat milk highest consumed milk by the poor on this earth. Although it seems very contrast where poor consumes, but because it's not sold, so it normally gets consumed by the household. Leaving that apart, the whole quality, the whole debate of zinc, selenium, and dengue and other things, there are a lot of research on goat milk. So I would not comment that the research are still not that much significant to prove, but the whole indication is to us a wholesome milk, to us anti-cancer properties, to us again immunity enhancer. So there are enough evidences as of now which shows goat milk has certain unique quality, certain unique amino acid which is constituent of protein, certain fatty acids which is different from other milk. So if you compare the goat milk, it's unique. Yeah, if you see the next slide, how we look into the whole, the marketing model, because unless and until it's not sold, it's not produced. So the question is, if the farmers are not able to get economic benefits of such a good milk, they will not be producing it on a higher quantity. And that's exactly the case today. Even if we are highest milk producer, our overall average milk productivity is very low. You rarely see dairy goat farms. Normally, goats are considered for meat. But today's, the things are changing. The people's perception to us, health consciousness, or wholesome foods or natural foods are increasing. And where we see the goat milk could be one of the staple, or especially for the child and old people, a good product to be coming into their food portfolio. And with that experiment, by 2018, we started this goat milk marketing, and at a very small level, aggregating the people, but the whole model is a community based. And I'm happy to inform by now we have sold around 20,000 liters of goat milk through our smaller efforts. And if you compare around 60 rupees liter to the farmers, we have paid this much amount to the farmers. And that led to the non-goat milk producing areas like around Lucknow. Now people are, or the goat farmers, especially the women farmers, have started to purchasing goat dairy, feeding the goat well, selecting the dairy goat and supplying to us. So the things changes when you start changing, the whole perspective. So my only thought or request is, let us look into this product. Let us not overlook it. Let us buy, just sideline. Let us look into why goat milk can be, and how the goat milk can be one of the revenue sources, as well as wholesome food and natural food to the consumers. And I could say you can visit some of the villages like Jakrana in Rajasthan in Bahrod district, or Rewari district in Haryana, where we have recently found almost 1,000 liters of milk we can procure. So that is how we are looking into it. The next slide will show you the supply chain management, how we and what are the issues? There are certain seasonality in goat milk, like in March and May we get maximum, but the demand we find in September to November is increasing because of dengue and other factors. To how to make this round the year supplies, that is still one of the challenge, where we are working with a lot of reproduction technology, artificial insemination. And for your information, we launched artificial insemination in goats since 2014. So we have in-house technology in the process, and now we are looking into the shelf life. So ghee has been coming as one of the product which are selling. We are selling significantly, and these are the product: ghee, fresh milk, and cheese. But the other rural products like kheer, kulfi could be equally beneficial, and kulfi has been one of the best made from the goat milk. And of course, cheese, internationally is the best product. And apart, we are also looking into cosmetics like handmade soap, which we are doing on a significant scale now. Face cream made from goat milk, where again, goat milk is easily absorbed by the skin, and it has multiple benefits because of its mineral and vitamins. Next, please. So this is how the small, when we started this web, how we are looking into the consumer reactions, consumers' questions, and designing our intervention. And then we came into the storehouse. The next slide will show you the storage points. Next, please. So this whole, then we started partnering with the shopkeepers and supply chain management. And as I said, we are now targeting around 1,000 liters per day. And recently we have started now Rewari in Haryana as one of the procurement place. As I said, Jakrana in Alwar district, and of course Lucknow. And we are also launching nearby Zevar and Gajrola. So these are the how we are looking into goat milk, how the things have changed, a smaller efforts and a small change we have made. But the whole thing, if you found, there seems high potential, including some of the countries like UAE. We are now launching in UAE by say 1 or 2 years. Will take a bit of time because the shelf life process technology, the powder making technology, the Tetra Pak, all requires to be integrated, where a bit of resource problems are there. So I invite Indian industries to look into goat milk and various products which can, combine both the rural employment, women and gender empowerment, as well as a good natural product to the market. So this is a small story to be shared with you. Welcome to your questions, your query, and looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening us about the goat milk and the nutritional aspect. I'm sure you have covered all the nutritional aspects aspect of it. So one question, sir, I want to ask you, since you're working in this. Hello.
Yeah.
So, sir, one question I want to ask you, what is your experience on the palatability side? So, our Indian consumer who is very, very used to of having a conventional cow milk, how receptive they are towards the goat milk. So, do you see any palatability issue with the consumer?
There are a lot of myths. There are some consumers having rural background who have heard about goodness of goat milk, and they becomes our first, But these are old age people, normally more than 50 years. But we had a hard time to convince younger generations and all that because of misconception of one is the smell in goat milk, goaty smell, and the second is a bit of salty taste because of high mineral. It has a salty taste. So as far as this smell is concerned, we started a clean milk. We standardized the whole process, and as of now, after pasteurization, there is no as such smell in goat milk. We have tested with around 300 consumers, but not pronounced smell as such is a factor. But as far as this mineral content is, and that's why salty taste is concerned, that is still there, and that has to be because that is why goat milk is different because of the mineral content. So to educate the people that you have a higher salt taste because there is a mineral, it took a lot of time, and then we started elaichi milk and starting with a few demonstration with the school boys going college youths, but then you require a taste changes a bit of because sweetened goat milk, and then now we have launched lassi in fact, which is lassi has taken significantly, kheer has taken good, and the tea. Tea has been our breakthrough as of now to sell the goat milk because a small salt is better in taste of the tea rather than plain cow and buffalo's milk. Yeah, so that is what we are struggling a lot. Yeah, sure. But then we find once convinced is significantly we get a consumer for almost 3, 4, 5 years. So it takes time, but then once that get convinced and then see the real impact. We have many stories where people after consuming the goat milk has a lot of good feeling because the probiotics makes your digestive system much smoother, and that experience we have significantly, yeah, especially with the people with digestive elements. Yeah.
Okay.
Is your question responded?
Yes, sir. So now I'll move to Chef Vikas, and sir, I'll come back to you again with other question. So now we have Chef Vikas with us, and talking about the nutritional aspect, and you have been working on millet and millet products, and we have all celebrated millet across globe last year. So how is your experience, and how do you think it is it meeting all the nutritional aspect, and how's your journey with the millet milk?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me here. It's a great journey, and you all celebrated first of all national, then international, both the years in last 4 or 5 years. But I'm having millets from last 8 years. I switched my diet to millets in 2016 because I became little sick in 2010. Then I reversed my health completely with the diet without any taking any medicines because we don't go, our family strictly follows home remedies. So I'm from that background. So millets is the biggest thing which helped me out. Then I worked on this cuisine also for 5 years. Then we opened our restaurant in 2023, which is India's first millet restaurant also. The milk, definitely you can do magic if you combine jowar and ragi both, because ragi calcium, jowar also, and sometimes foxtails also you can take milk out of that. It's very good in many amino acids which you find in the dairy proteins only. So then the question comes how easy it is. So it's very easy. Like you just want to make a coffee shake at your home, just 5 minutes it takes. Just take coconut, just blend it with double the quantity of water, strain it immediately. You can make smoothies, shakes, even hot coffees, filter coffees. But I'm doing everything with this. Even in our restaurant, our millet chai is more popular than the regular milk chai. So everyone asks for that millet chai because that flavor profile is very high if you compare to the dairy, because this is a myth that we have been growing with this milk, cow milk, so it's very difficult to switch. But we have totally changed the scenario in our region, and I'm working all across country. Recently we have made club, kids millet club, and we'll be doing the first session on 26th in the evening. 60 students have already been registered today only, between 2 hours only. And we have a target to gather 10,000 students under one club, so that they get the authenticity of food, what junk food they get outside, and what food, the magic food is in their kitchens. And I just got a message from a mom, from a mother of 3-year-old girl, can I come with her, because I want her to see what real food is, so that she should not approach burgers on these kind of things. So this really doing magic, and I've seen great things happening in last 1 year. You can all see on my social media also, because we are very active there. Why we want to be active? Because we want to attract new generation, because new generation will take forward our vision, or the healthy lifestyle, which I just asked the last panelist also, that it's very difficult to trace dairy milk. No one can trace. Even I found many negative traces in a top brand. But how can we judge if someone take responsibility that we are selling this, and someone is approving? There should be some label on that we are responsible for this. Then you can buy it. But this is not right if we buy that thing and that is harming us. And I am meeting many people, and I think more than 20 people in my just last 3-4 months who have changed their lives just by switching, not milk only, with grains also. We are working on wheat, the impact of wheat, then what is the impact of millet. So one of my friend, he just came to know that I'm coming here. He's from, he's a professional cricketer. He just joined me, Akash, he's sitting here. And he just changed his life in this last 6 months.
Wow.
Just with these lifestyles only, changes.
Like you rightly mentioned, that all, as an Indian consumer, our plate is changing.
Yes.
So all the healthy things is there on our plate. If we compare for the last couple of years, even
Yes.
post-COVID, it has changed drastically. And also, I would concur with you that if we want to have a good, healthy lifestyle, it should start with our kids, who are the
Yes.
younger ones in our home, because we tend to cook lot of things which is kind of unhealthy. Because we know we can make a conscious choice of we know what is healthy, unhealthy, but they are only dependent on the taste. So which most of the time, which results into unhealthy cooking. So, I was moderating a session with another chef on some other occasion, and she mentioned that if you want to stop your kid from not having junk, make them read the label.
Yes.
So as a practice, I always take my kids to the grocery store. We do the groceries together, and I made them, you want to pick this, okay, read the label, you find it exciting and healthy, take it, otherwise leave it. So, that has really worked for me. So, very rightly said that that choice is in our hand. How, if we want to, it's not just that you are lactose intolerant, that's how you are not having dairy milk. If you want to make a healthy choice, non-adulterated choice also,
Yes.
you can opt for this
The
milk.
lactose
So
is very small thing.
that's a
If
very
you-
small,
from
yeah.
where I see, this is
Yeah.
a very small thing,
It's a
but
very
other
small
things are
thing.
very big.
Absolutely.
And
Lactose, you are prescribed to have, but then this is a choice which you can make.
So
for
why we are
yourself.
focusing on kids? Because I did more than 500 shows in last 3 years with government and semi-government bodies, including AIMS and all, everywhere I go. And I do demonstrate and talk to people. And jo mera last 3 years result was that that is not very much positive, because when you see people sitting with you who are 60s, 70s, they say, we have lived our life and we are happy with this, what we are having. We'll live little 5 years less. So their answer is like that. And now it's easy when you work on the kids. They will definitely bring the change.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'll come back to you again.
Sure.
So Sonal, you are working in this space over a decade now, and in our discussion also you mentioned that you are into soya-based ice cream, just to start and make the customer used to of the soya taste and may bring them to their plate. So that was the easiest spot where we can hit any consumer. So and I just want to understand your journey, because we all know plant-based milk. We have been, because I think soya milk is one of the oldest milk alternative for lactose or non-bovine, etc. So how has been your journey, and how is it contributing in today's time?
Thank you, Mili, first of all, for having me over. Thank you to Indian Culinary Agenda for organizing this awesome summit. Yeah, so soya milk is just one of the immense other plant-based options around. India is actually blessed to be in a tropical, heavy, climatically speaking region, whereby we are naturally endowed with a vast amount of back-end source possibilities like millets, like wheat, like rice, like soybean, of course, almonds, in the upper regions of the country, and so on and so forth. Talking of what kind of say for us the journey was about trying to make India listen to the whole story of, because दूध नहीं पीता है सारा India. That is the true reality. But yes, thanks to the marketing genius, which I am really grateful to the dairy industry for actually making me learn and relearn every day of my entrepreneurship, that how important is marketing really as a skill to have, because that is how we have ended up being consumers of dairy to the present extent. So one, I think I can straight away jump into what kind of,
Yeah, please.
because I think we are
Yeah,
sensitive
please.
towards time as well. Totally appreciate that. So one, I think we are talking of more and more of inclusivity these days, aren't we? Especially the Gen Z of the South Asian University people sitting here, and the younger lot would identify more with the inclusivity part being more relevant in today's discourse across the world. So accordingly, plant-based milks ought to be given the same platform, the same recognition which non-plant milks have been given till now. Second, when I talk about marketing, say even in a parent-child relationship, it is up to the parent how he or she is actually marketing himself or herself in front of that child to be able to make him or her accept him, with his entire entire rules and strictures and whatever. Implementation of anything cannot be done unless we have marketed it well. Here is the problem which lies with the vegan or the plant-based industry, because much to our own surprise, we are not even allowed to use those terms like milk. So in only soya milk and coconut milk is actually permitted by FSSAI to be actually labeled as milk. So even if it's a 20% ratio of almond milk, you actually would be penalized if FSSAI gets to know about it, that you are talking about it as almond milk. It's an almond beverage. But yes, so there are exceptions, and I'm actually very progressive in my thoughts, and I do kind of have that hope that maybe a few years down the line, government of India would be lowering down its parameters and would be including millet beverage into the category of millet milk. So similarly with, say, frozen desserts, we've, unlike what Mili, in a friendly gesture, she told me that, yeah, we've been doing soya milk ice cream. So no, we are doing soya milk, soya beverage, frozen desserts. Because for a product to be called as an ice cream legally, not just some amount of dairy milk is sufficient, but dairy-derived cream has to be of a percentage of 10% and above for a product to be legitimately called as an ice cream. White Cub, which is my brand, it happens to be on the opposite side of the spectrum. We are a proud to be dairy-free brand. So zero dairy cream in our products. At the same time, zero oil as well in our ice creams. So yes, so we are not a Vadilal, we are the typical oil-laden frozen desserts. And there I think I have genuinely picked up from, I mean, this is from the core of my heart I'm saying that I've picked up that huge importance of, again, I think maybe at the risk of sounding repetitive, picked up that nuance of that marketing is so important. Dairy ice creams had to be selling themselves. That is why they chose to highlight the oil part of the ingredient of their competitor brands, while their ice creams are also maybe as unhealthy because a lot of sugars, artificial colors, artificial flavors. Nonetheless, all that gets, backtracked, sidelined, and just the dairy versus the vegetable oil gets highlighted. In this entire chaos, the vegan ice creams, they end up, having that disadvantage of sorts. So we are doing premium products, we are doing premium ingredients, we are doing healthful ingredients, no preservatives, healthy amount of nuts or seeds in our milks, no preservatives. Even from the point of view of nutrition, as a brand, we've always believed in the efficacy of dairy milk-based main products. So say butter or curd for now. So India is the only country in the world, if I can say so, which has been endowed with the culture of having dahi. So dahi is curd, which is different from yogurt. Curd is typically taken in India for two reasons. One is protein, and the other is good bacteria. White cup curds are extremely good in both these parameters. In fact, our PC, not Priyanka Chopra, but our peanut curd, has got much more amount of protein in it as compared to a dairy curd. So a dairy curd, say 100 grams, has about 3.5 to maximum 4 grams of protein. Our peanut curd has more than 6 grams of protein. Our soy coconut curd also has got more or similar amount of protein as a dairy curd. Second, yes, we are also using the live bacteria, the active cultures. So nutritionally speaking, we are giving a good quality-based product. Second, as compared to like a butter, while the big brands of the country choose to ignore some of the ingredients on the label, we choose to write all the labels, all the ingredients on our label. So has anyone wondered why they can't replicate Amul butter taste at home whenever you try to make the butter at home? Because making butter is easy at home. Because they do put in color and they do put in flavor in their butter, which they don't write about on their packaging. So when you look at the packet of dairy mainstream company, they only talk about milk, and I think, yeah, milk and perhaps maybe salt if it's a salted butter. But yeah, we choose to write the entire ingredients. So that is how we are presently structured. Yeah, looking forward to some, meaningful discourses, in the times to come. And yeah, looking forward for the diversity of the entire ecosystem to grow.
Okay, so you touched upon the nutritional aspect of it and also the policy intervention, which you from the government standpoint should be coming to this sector to give the proper impetus what it requires. And having said that, we all know that it is healthy, millet is healthy, soya is healthy. My question is to both of you. Where do you see the gap? And second question is, do you see it's sustainable in long run? Because as a mainstream dairy, we see it's only the bovine milk is the mainstream dairy. So where do you find your space there, and do you see the customer base catching up to that, and where is the gap in your view?
So much more sustainable. So actually plant-based dairy is much more carbon efficient, much limited global carbon footprint of plant-based dairy than as opposed to dairy industry. Dairy animals also contribute a large amount of methane emissions in the world, because of which these days you may have come across, if you are into reading up on the latest R&D side of things, they are trying to develop such feed for the cows that the fat which they'll produce will have lesser methane. So such is the compelling force of milk consumption that we would want to go to any extent to just continue the consumption of animal milk, which is perhaps maybe designed or not designed for human consumption. That's a discussion for another day. Yeah, so one is that, and yeah, what was the question, Mili?
So you touched upon the sustainable aspect.
Yeah,
so
and
I was asking you, we all are aware that it is healthy and what is healthy, what is non-healthy. So where do you see a gap for the consumer base to catch up to your milk? And is it the supply is not ample and it's not on the shelf, which is the top of the mind recall to a customer? Where do you see a gap? I mean, in your view.
The supply problem, yeah, of course, like Mr. Sanjeev was rightly pointing out how he's been able to scale up to the point of being present at so many, say, 1,000 retail stores across the country. So one is that as a possible solution. Of course, the second is the demand, impetus, and yeah, the right kind of platforms and the right encouragement from the government of India. For instance, plant-based industry, a lot of products are taxed at 18%, while dairy maximum products are either taxed at 0% or 5%. So that's a huge gap, which small-scale producers have to pay much more as an indirect penalty, if I can say so. But yeah, we are game for it, and we are here for the long run. So here to help the entire food and nutrition ecosystem to grow. Further, actually, plant milks are much more sustainable also because they are much more energy efficient. There's lesser residue left after making the plant milk. While any guesses, what is the residue left after taking the dairy milk? Any guesses? So the residue is the animal itself, and thereby dairy industry is able to directly support the animal slaughtering industry, which for now is pretty capital intensive, but yes, yields large amount of profits. And that is perhaps one of the reasons why one of the earlier panelists, when he did mention about the non-bovine milk, options of non-bovine milk, he was unable to come up with maybe, say, plant milks like soy milk, millet milk, but he came up with goat milk and camel milk, because that's how the focus of the governments presently lie, to just support the existing industries one after the other. We are still rather conservative in being open-minded in adopting radically new approaches. But yeah, I'm a pretty optimist person, yeah.
So no, I would like to disagree here, because I have seen the government policy changing, and I have seen government is giving a lot of importance to plant-based industry. So now they are recognizing it. Yeah. Earlier that was not the case. Yes. So I have been in this industry for past 9, 8, and 20 years, and I have seen this space is growing and it is evolving for better. Yeah. So earlier it was only an option for a lactose intolerant people, but now people are opting for it. So, and people are talking about plant-based milk. So, yes, the pace is slow, but then, yes, government is trying to catch up.
Oh, yes, so, yeah, definitely. On the whole, yes.
So, same question to you, Vikas.
Same. She answered very well. And it's far, far sustainable. And we don't need even pesticide, herbicides. The example is we are growing our own millets in 18 acres in Sangrur. From 2 hours from my house. I just go there for harvesting and just check on that. My contractual partner is always taking care of that. We don't use even any khad for that. We use the kodo millet husk as a manure. We use it. You see, this is how sustainable it is.
So all the millets can be used for the millet milk, kodo, kutki, ragi,
yeah, you can blend any white grain,
but
and you can strain it.
But any preferable or recommended millet which is
see, easy are ragi and jowar.
Okay.
But you can handle, if you can handle foxtail is very good, very high in other proteins and all.
Right.
You make milk out of anything. But coconut milk again is very good. It's very high in MCTs, which converted into ketones. I think I am not a scientist or a doctor, but wo liver store kar leta hai, then it works for your brain function. The coconut milk you should consume at least 3 times in a week. How magical this coconut milk is.
Sanjeev sir, if you are there with us, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, do you see palatability as a barrier to reach out to the maximum consumer in India, like you said, or you see it as like you mentioned that a lot of people, they like the taste of the saltiness which they appreciate. So how do you take it? I mean, do you see it as a barrier, or do you see it comes to your stride when it comes to market the goat milk?
Yes, palatability is a habitual phenomenon. The buffalo milk, if you see the buffalo in the village, you'll never even imagine to consume that milk, the how dirty or how the way they are kept. But to me, all of these can coexist. There are enough demands. And see, we are a 150 million kind of people country. So we have enough demand, even if 5%, 10% becomes a huge market in India. So I don't feel that it needs to be competitive. One is we cannot replace. To be honest, the demand in India is such a, say even the milk, even if the world's largest growing with 6% pace, even then we are not able to give milk to our people. So to me, we all need coexist. We need to create a space. There are people who are not able to access, and it's their choice.
Very
Choice
well
cannot
said.
be compared. Let them take the choice. And then there are certain kind of people that a specific problem they have. It's something like medicine. You cannot recommend one medicine to all. Rather look into those who needs that particular medicine. So while selling goat, we call it's not milk, it's a medicine. ये दूध नहीं औषधि है. It's what our slogan. And we find there are significant people who wants to take something which helps them to have a better health or better feeling, and that's important. Even 10% if I reach, I know what the volume is and what the market I have. So I'm not bothering about to have 90%. I'm more concerned about the 10% conscious people, and that's enough for us.
So
Is that
there's, like
right,
you
your
said, that it's a
question?
matter of choice and we have to coexist with each other. So, yeah, very well said, sir. With this, I would like to take a couple of questions. If anyone have any questions for our panelist, can we pass on the mic? Shifali, can you help?
Okay, I had one question, especially to Chef Vikas. I've also worked a little bit on millets, and my question is about the processing technology. So with millets, the thing is when you're in a home kitchen, the processing technology, which is you wash it, you dry it, you have to soak it. So how do you actually process the millets for the millet milk? And secondly, because right now the government is also trying to incorporate millets into the ICDS programs, into Anganwadi systems within food and nutrition, because India is a very nutritionally insecure country. How does millet milk kind of come into that? Since I haven't really come across millet milk, but I've come across millets being used as substitutes for dosas, batters, or rice, or things like that.
Thank you. I started my sessions from Anganwadis only. My first session was 5 years back when I joined FSSAI as co-convener. So it was Anganwadi only. And there also, when I made few millet dishes for them, then I asked the ladies, what you do with the millet which you are getting free from the government, because government is providing them 5 kg free. Then they said, we are just putting to the cow or to the neighbor because we don't know how to cook it. Then we started these demonstrations where we make it easy for others to understand how to cook millets. Definitely you need to soak it for 8 hours minimum. But before, if you do it, you won't be able to digest it because its fiber is entangled in between. You imagine a football and then put another ball inside, and the center dot is again the fiber. So it needs minimum 8 hours to soak it. But it's very simple. You want to eat rajma, chana, your favorite, you soak it overnight only. Na? So similarly, 8 hours before you start the process, we don't need to, many people ask me that it's how you have to soak it for 8 hours. Then I say, you don't have to see it for 8 hours by sitting behind. You just soak it and do your work and then cook it after 8 hours. So definitely soak it is must. You have to soak it. But in our process, we have done something very different in our facility. We are selling our millets which are pre-soaked 12 hours, then dried. Then we are selling it also. And we have mentioned pre-soaked, no need to soak again. Just wash it and cook it. So we can do any kind of process like we have implemented. So we have recently exported 16-ton millets to Australia, which is next to impossible. If you ask someone, do you want to export something to Australia? So we have cleared all the parameters. So we just did it last year only, in the mid-June only. So soak it, then you do everything with millet. You get everything from out of millet. In our restaurant, we are doing millet beverage, millet parathas, millet dosas, millet pudis, millet chaat, millet halwa, millet malpua, barfi, laddu. All the things are in one roof you will get. So it's very easy. Just we have to break the curtain. And some emotions are there. Like milk we were talking. So cow milk, we have just emotions. कि हम तो दूध पीकर बड़े हुए हैं गाय का. मेरे मदर भी मुझे यही बोलते थे 5-6-7 साल पहले, और मुझे घर पे सब पागल बोलते थे, तू क्या कर रहा है, आप दूध पीते आ रहे हैं, दूध पी. तो बट फिर नाउ मेरे घर पे आप अगर अभी भी आएंगे, यू वॉन्ट सी वीट, राइस, वाइट शुगर, रिफाइंड ऑयल, यू वॉन्ट सी एनीथिंग ऑफ दिस. अब पूरी फैमिली इंक्लूडिंग माई सन, ही इज़ ऑल्सो शेफ, he also follows this from last 2 years, and now he's handling my job over there. Even agar main yahan nahi bhi aata, to he could have handled this chair also. He's that much expert into the millets and the knowledge. So this is our responsibility to guide society. That's how I'm working now. That's why we created this kids club. We'll work on the kids now, क्योंकि बड़ों को समझाना इतना ईजी नहीं है जितना बच्चों को है. तो वी आर वर्किंग ऑन द किड्स. अब 3 years की सबसे छोटी एनरोलमेंट मेरे पास आ जाइए, 3 साल की बच्ची आएगी, वो भी हमसे मिलेट सीखेगी अब, है ना. तो दिस इज हाउ वी शुड डू. आई थिंक यू गॉट योर आंसर. इट हैज़ टू बी सोक्ड 100%. देयर इज नो शॉर्टकट.
Actually, I have a question for both, but of course, if everybody else should also get the opportunity to ask the question. First, I can ask the question to Sonal. I was just looking at your website and I just saw the pricing as well, and of course I saw the ingredients, and of course you walk and talk money, and I read the ingredients and I knew that there's nothing that's harmful for the body that's there. I was also looking at the pricing, the way that you've done it. The 200 gram plant-based salted butter that you have is for 171.43, which was very interesting for me to see on the website. And then I compared and I went on Blinkit and I wanted to check what is the cost of Amul butter for the same grammage. Because I ultimately know that if we need to sort of replace and compete, we should be competing with the best. You have mentioned same day delivery for orders placed before 4:30 p.m., which is Bombay, Delhi and Pune or Bangalore, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong.
True.
How has your response been with the people when you've got product reviews, and there's a product review also on your website? How has your response been on also telling them why is it time bound, and has it helped in consumers, because a lot of these delivery apps and a lot of these fall-offs happen with products ki, oh, you should order before 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. And a lot of the way Indians are, like just like today, some of us show up late and we forget the window, so we don't order on time. What has been your success rate for that?
So Indians these days, thanks to globalization, thanks to the Meta's all-pervasive influence, are becoming very receptive to the startup concept, whereby they are very accommodating and extremely encouraging and very patronizing, if I can use that word. So yes, so they do wait. And they do help as much as possible in timely placement of their orders. So we are at the stage where we are not yet like out there on a mainstream market level size. So which is why that's that. And so we are priced half or double of Amul butter. Again because of economy of scale reasons, but would love to kind of do something about it. Talking of the products, if you are asking in terms of the the market response, I would love to do a quick question. Any guesses how much curd we could have been selling per month? This is for my own understanding of how receptive or how attuned we could be to plant-based milk products, even within Delhi NCR. Assuming that maximum of us are indeed from Delhi NCR, how much curds we could be producing every month, considering the fact that White Cup is the only prominent curd manufacturer in Delhi NCR in plant-based sector. So no response. Any guesses, Om? Any guesses, Tanu? So we do about 1,200 to 1,500 liters of curds every month. So this is where we are. So take it as small, or take it as that, yes, the beginning has been done, the germination of the seed has been done. But yeah, and this month, March onwards, we will be launching our curds in Mumbai as well. Having said that, yes, already India is having 1 or 2 more plant-based curd players, which are not so active in Delhi NCR. So yeah, so India's plant-based economy is booming for sure, and thanks to the support from Government of India as well at different quarters. However it comes, we always grab it. So yeah, so thanks.
No, but also just to add your point, you have brought down the price competitively for Amul. You said it's double, but no, it's actually you brought it down just $50 more expensive than the Amul 200 gram bag. So that's also very commendable to compete with the market giant.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you. I have a question for Sanjeev Kumarji. In terms of how you describe goats as the poor man's cow, can I ask you what are the challenges, particularly when it comes to access to public grazing land? Because these are people who cannot afford to buy fodder, unlike, let's say, buffalo or cow owners. So has that become an issue with access becoming more and more challenging to public grazing land or community-owned grazing land?
Yeah, this is one of the serious threat to any livestock, not goat, and for humanity, in fact, for a larger, even for agriculture. The problem we are solving is making it a semi-stall fed. Once the milk is sold, the cost or economics of goat becomes very viable, and then you can promote a semi-stall fed. Because grazing land, especially if you look into UP kind of thing, Eastern UP especially, there is no grazing land as per government record. It's largely roadside, canal side land. And this is not nutritious. For the livestock also, there are a lot of risk while grazing. Apart from predator risk, now there are vegetation and diversity risk. A lot of... Are you getting my point? Oh.
Yes.
So,
yes.
To cut it short, yeah, it's a challenge, but then we need a production system change, which we are working where we said semi-stall-fed goatry can be better option and women friendly. So milk can be one of the, one of the solid step if you want to make goat farming semi-stall-fed, more into, women-led, small size, small space kind of farming, then yeah, the goat milk has to be sold. Yeah, over to you.
If we have time, can I ask another quick question?
Yeah.
Just to follow up to what Mr. Chawla said about millet milk. I can understand it's an option for those who are vegan or are lactose intolerant. Millet milk is an option. But what's the rationale for millet milk? Why are you to get rid of all the roughage and fiber from millets when you can just have millets and get the nutrition? Why choose millet milk?
I'm not saying ki stick to millet milk. I'm saying this is just an alternate. If you recently see my one video on social media, we started with making of milk of jowar. Then I made ice latte with that. Then with the roughage, I made halwa with ghee and jaggery syrup in that. So I have used everything. We won't waste anything. This is my first motive. And then if we talk about how to cook palatability, it's very easy. If Akash is sitting here, 6 months back, he met me in my restaurant, and then I put him on all the millets diet. उनसे पहले millet नहीं लेते थे आप आकाश. And now, as a player, he worked for 8 to 10 hours in the field. He came back, he comes to home and cooks himself. खुद बनाते हैं ये खाना सारा, और it's very easy to do everything. He makes his own milk, he makes his own millet porridge, millet paratha, everything. So it's very simple, sir, and it's an option. Millet milk is an option, not I'm saying use it only, but alternate. Once you have ragi, once you have coconut milk, any kind of thing. Almond milk is there, then soya milk is there. You can alternate. You will get more nutrition than if you compare to the cow milk. If you use all these 5 milks, 5 days, you'll get better nutrition. I think ma'am knows better.
I think this pretty much sums up our session talking about a non-bovine milk. And, the crux is that the choice is, the one has to make a healthy choice. And all the alternatives can coexist. So it is on us. I think sensitization is also important. Everyone sitting here in the room might not be knowing, I'm sure they are much more enlightened today for soya or millet or goat milk. So its sensitization also plays a very, very important role when we talk about changing our plate and changing our dietary habit. We have a live example in, in front of us. So, we all have to make that choice, and all we want to, convey through our panel discussion that non-bovine milk is also an alternative for a conventional milk, where you don't have to be only prescribed. It's a healthy choice which we can make. And I think with this we come to end of the session, and you can interact more